All right, man, we gotta stop settling for mediocrity. I mean, there's too many tools and there's too many resources out there for us to be great, but it all starts with ourselves. So let's get uncomfortable and let's talk about how we can be much more than mediocre. Hey everybody, I'm Michael A. Benton with michaelabenton.com, and on this channel I focus on helping men take control of their lives and achieve their desires. So if you're a man looking to better himself, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. You know, I've received a lot of direct messages from both members of my private Facebook group as well as just random people that have seen my work on YouTube and asking me about being mediocre. And so I wanted to do a video and really just share some actionable ideas that's going to help you shift your thinking into being not just mediocre, but being great. Listen, you know, before I got into coaching, you know, I've always had a fear of being mediocre and living below my potential and living amongst the status quo. Like it just never sat with me the right way. And I don't want to live my life like that. And I know that this world can make it so easy for us to be complacent, to be mediocre, to be, you know, middle of the road, and for that to be okay, right? For us to get by and to fit in and to, like I said, be complacent. But for me, that wasn't the case, and that still isn't. We as men, we have so much potential in any aspect of our lives to achieve great things, to be better influencers to our family, our kids, our friends, our society, you know, our communities that we're involved in. And I think it's just a shifting of the mindset to get us from thinking that being complacent, being mediocre, being normal is okay and it's cool. And there's some of you guys out there that's okay with, right? Like you are okay with being mediocre and complacent, and that's totally fine. But I'm assuming if you're watching this video that you have some type of thought in the back of your head that maybe you do want more, or you're interested in the idea of being more than just mediocre. So if that's you, keep watching. You know, like I said, this world makes it super easy for us to be complacent and just be middle of the road. You know, you got to understand, like, what makes a person mediocre. And one is thinking small-minded. You got to think, out of all the people that you walk around with, 90% of people are thinking small-minded. They're thinking the large things that may seem incapable of achieving or doing or obtaining seems far-fetched. So they limit their thinking to thinking small-minded things, right? I'm just going to get this job, you know, and I'm just gonna be able to pay my bills, and I will compete for the next spot, you know, taking them out of their position, but that's about it, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, it just makes it super easy for us to fall in that trap of, I'm just gonna do what I need to do to get a paycheck, to have a relationship with my girlfriend or my spouse, to be an okay dad, you know, to be an okay friend to my friends, and that's it. And I was cool with that. But I'm here to tell you, man, there's more to life than that. There's more that you can do for yourself. There's more that you can achieve for yourself. Listen, there's so many resources and tools. There's so many coaches and mentors and books you can read and YouTube videos you can watch and articles you can read. And there's just an abundance of information out there. It absolutely makes no sense for all that to exist, only for us as men to be complacent, to be to lack thereof, you know what I mean? And so we just got to utilize it. But it all starts with ourselves. We have to, one, believe, you know, that we could be more and achieve more. It really is just a shifting of your mindset. And so I'm going to run through a couple of ideas that's going to help you change the way you think about being mediocre, and hopefully that's going to get you from realizing that you can go from good to great, from great to exceptional. There are different levels, you know what I mean? You don't have to be stuck at just being okay. So we'll talk about those. You know, and the second thing that makes you mediocre is the way you interpret failure. You know, as a man right now, when you try something and you fail, in your mind, you telling yourself that you suck at it, right? And so you don't go back to it and you end up running from it. And that's totally the wrong way to see it. I think once you change your mindset about failure and you see that failing is actually your way to winning, you're gonna look at things totally different. But right now, your mind is set on, if you're not good at something, then it's not meant for you to do that or to pursue that, which is totally not the case. It just means that you may have a lack of experience at that item. You may have a lack of knowledge. You may need more, more tries at doing it. But you run from it because it makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel inadequate as a man. It makes you feel incompetent. These are the things that you're telling yourself in your mind, but that's not reality. And so really, like I said, it's just a shifting of changing your mindset to understanding that failure is moving your way forward to success, to winning, to obtaining whatever it is that you're trying to obtain or achieve. So you got to get your head wrapped around that failing is good. Will Smith said it best in one of his Instagram videos where he talked about failing early, fail often, and fail forward. I think that's remarkably true. You want to fail as early in the process of whatever endeavor that you're going after, whatever you're trying to achieve. You want to fail as much as you possibly can early on. So that way you build up the knowledge of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, the experience, right? And the know-it-all. So that way, as you move through your journey, you're well equipped, and fail as often as possible. He also mentioned a really good point in this video too, when he talked about, going to the gym, and that way you're actually preconditioning yourself to fail. You're getting your muscles to the point where they're failing, and at that point is when you when you reach adaptations in your muscles, when they start to grow and they start to change. You start to build more muscle, and so that's exactly what you need to do, and just apply that to every aspect of your life. So fail as early as you possibly can, fail as often as you possibly can, and the last he said is fail forward. Fail all the way to success. It's pretty much, So look at failure as a roadmap, as a way to be successful, as a way to win, and not as a deterrent, and not as a flaw in your characteristics, because it's not a flaw. Everyone fails. Your favorite basketball player or your favorite musician, actor, your favorite whatever, has failed at whatever it is that they're good at now, that they're great at now. You don't think that Jim Carrey, started off as this amazing comedic actor who can play all these different roles. No, I'm sure he's failed at different roles he's had. He's probably gotten rejected for roles that he's wanted. He's failed a lot. Look at these people that you admire. Go through it and read their history, their personal history on how they came up. And I guarantee you there is not one person on this planet that has not failed at whatever it is that they are good at or great at now. So change your mentality when it comes to failing, and knowing that failing is your friend. You got to ask yourself, what will failure do for me, or what can failure do for me other than get you to success? Because it will. Because like we said, you'll fail your way forward to being successful. It's gonna humble you, for one. So as you fail, the more often you go through these trials and tribulations where you have these emotional roller coasters, right? Where you're up 1 minute and then you're down because things are going great, and then boom, something happens and you end up failing. Inevitably, you end up failing at that, and then you go back and you try it again and you end up failing. And so when you failed enough times, you get kicked around, and your emotions are up and down, and you've seen good times and you've seen bad times. It really does do a thing to a person, especially a man. It really does humble that person, and I think it helps you gain empathy and sympathy for others who are like you, right? Who are going through the same journey that you've gone through once you've made it, once you've become successful. And so you just have a lot more appreciation for the hard work and the sweat and the grind and the blood and the tears that you as an individual, you as an entrepreneur, someone as an athlete has as they fail their way to success. So it definitely humbles you as a person to see that you can be definitely down at the bottom and work your way to the top. The second thing that it does is it strengthens your mindset. It's like building a callus around your brain. You know what I mean? Like The more that you're accompanied by failure, the more you're able to adapt to situations in which it creates failure, right? You're able to, when you fail, you're able to shake it off. You're able to, instead of looking at the negative of the situation, you're able to look at the positive and say, okay, what didn't I do here? Why didn't it go the way I wanted to? Why didn't it work? Okay, let's figure that out. Now let's try again. Thomas Edison is a great example of someone who's failed their way forward. I mean, it's been recorded that he's tried to create the light bulb, more than 1,000 times. So that's someone who has callous his mind to understand that, okay, every time I fail is another opportunity for me to learn what just happened and apply that to my next attempt. And that's what you got to do. And another reason why failure can help you is to help you build character, is to help you understand the qualities of yourself that makes you the individual who you are, and for you to be able to not so much be hardened by failing, but to understand that it's part of the process, and it's actually the key part in the process to pushing you forward to success. So again, don't look at failure as a negative. That's something that you have to run away from, or that you need to immediately quit when things get hard and it doesn't work out for you. No, it's the total opposite. Keep going. Push your way to failure. You want to fail. You want to keep pushing that limit, because you're gaining more knowledge from that. Every time you fail, you figure out why it didn't work, and it's one step closer to your goal. If you guys ask me, hey Michael, what are some tips that could help me stop being mediocre, then here's what I would tell you. The first tip I would tell you is to invest in yourself. And this is things like creating good habits, exercising daily, eating healthy, digesting positive information, such as motivational videos, inspirational videos, reading self-help books, things of that nature. You have to want to better yourself, and you have to invest in yourself, because no one else will. No one's going to unfortunately come and save you. This is all on what it is that you want to accomplish with yourself. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of David Goggins, but he's a former U.S. Navy SEAL, and he epitomizes a man in regards to taking his body and his mental mind frame to the limits. And he totally invested in himself through changing his mindset, through doing the necessary things he had to do that he really felt uncomfortable with and didn't know how to do. And he knew that he had to do them in order to grow within himself and grow out of himself. And so that's what I'm telling you, as far as investing in yourself, is do what needs to be done. And those things are going to allow you to slowly start to build whatever it is that you need, the confidence that you need. And you're going to see that growth take place, and you're going to start to do more and more and more. The second tip that I would tell you is to be persistent. Like, take a look at Tom Brady, for example. He didn't get to where he was by not being persistent at his craft, or not being repetitious, and being arguably probably the best quarterback to ever play the game. He got there by training, by doing over and over again, by repetition, by failing and moving forward. That's how he got to be where he's at now. And that's exactly what you need to do in your life. As a man, you need to take control. You need to repetition. Whatever it is that you're not good at, whatever your weaknesses are, be more repetitious and build those up, and do it over and over and over again until you've gotten good at them and you've gotten great at them, and move on to the next one. And don't just focus on your strengths, but also focus on your weaknesses too, because you want to create balance with yourself. From your mind, your body, and your soul, you want to create balance. Be repetitious and keep at it, and don't give up. All right, guys, do me a favor, comment below and share with me why you don't want to be mediocre. Tip number 3, man, is you got to be comfortable at being uncomfortable. Like, shit isn't easy. You know what I mean? Like, nothing that anyone does to try and strive for is easy. They have to go through someone or something to get to where they want to be. They have to study some course. They have to take some classes. They got to learn from coaches and mentors. They got to grind it out. They got to work 16 hours a day. They got to work 2 or 3 jobs to make shit work. They have to go through a divorce for these things to work. Life is hard, bro. Like, it is. And I know you know this. And so you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Stuff that you're not good at, you're going to have to work at it. Stuff that you don't want to do, you're going to have to do it. And it's just bottom line. It's just, there's no way around that. Like I said before, no one is here to save you. No one is coming to save you and to say, oh man, you seem like such a good guy, and it looks like you have high hopes. Here is the world. Like, come on, man. Like, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? So get yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable at whatever it is that you need to do. And the more you mentally prepare yourself for these moments where you're going to be uncomfortable, I'm telling you, the more you're going to grow. This is where you're going to start to grow as a human being, start to grow as a man, and become within yourself. If you are overweight, dude, and you need to lose weight, whether it's because of health reasons, or if it's relationship reasons or personal reasons, you just want to lose weight, but you hate getting on the treadmill, you need to get your ass on the treadmill. Like, it's just simple as that, and start off at whatever it is you need to start off at. If it's half a mile a day, then do that, or push yourself and do whatever the cost. You're going to do a mile a day, and work your way from there. But you can't mope around, or you can't say that, oh, I want to do it, but I can't because I really hate running. Then find another route. If there's another way for you to get the success that you're looking for, to meet the goals that you're after, then find another route. Okay, you don't want to run, then do the row machine, right? Or, I don't know, do something else other than running. You know what I mean? That's going to still burn those calories there for you, burn that fat. But at the end of the day, you still got to do the work. So it's really all about what it is that you want and how bad you want it. If you don't want it at all, you're not going to do it, then don't complain about, your life being where it's at if it's not where you want it to be. You got to put in the work, bro. You know what I mean? So that would be the tip number 3 that I would tell you. And the last tip that I would probably tell you is to be accountable to yourself. Like, if you're sitting there watching me and you're saying to yourself, man, Mike, you're saying the same thing that everyone else is, shame on you. Like, for real, like, bro, shame on you. Why does it take 15 people who are preaching this, practically the same information? Why is it taking you so long to get it? This is about you being accountable to yourself. There's no secret formula, right? There is no secret book you can go get that's gonna make these things automatically happen for you. There's no genie in a bottle. This is all on you. You need to be accountable. You have all the tools and resources that I've said before that are out there. You have to make a conscientious effort within your mind, in your body, to go after what it is that you want and be better than you ever have before. But you got to be accountable to yourself. You know what I mean? Really have a real deep conversation with yourself, and if you need to, write them out and say, okay, here's all the excuses that I've been making and that I'm making now. Here's all the reasons why I say I want these things, but do I really want them? Write out your goals and behind them put why it is that you want them. Make sure that your goals are aligned with who you are and what it is that you truly want. But be accountable to yourself. Don't look for other people to help you, or to give you everything that you possibly need to become the man that you want to be. To be more than just mediocre. You got to be accountable to yourself. All right, fellas, so I want you to indulge me for a minute, right? So I want you to grab a piece of paper, and I want you to take a pen or a marker, whatever you have, and I want you to draw a line down the middle of the page. And on the left-hand side of the page, I want you to write down everything that you did last week that you didn't have to do, but you chose to do. All right, so let me repeat that. So on the left-hand side of the paper, you're going to write down everything that you did last week that you didn't have to do, but you chose to do. So let me give you an example. Maybe you cleaned your boat, right? You got in your car and you drove to the store and you got a 6-pack. Maybe you partied all weekend with your boys, right? Maybe you spent time with your kids. Maybe you went to the gym 3 days out of the week. What else could you have done? Whatever you did, write those down. Again, things that you didn't have to do. They weren't mandatory. No one was making you. You didn't have to do it, but you wanted to. You wanted to do it. And once you're done making your list, and then on the right-hand side of the page, I want you to write down everything that you should have done. So let me give you some examples. If you are always talking about having a better relationship with your wife or your girlfriend, then maybe you should have spent time with that person, took them out on a date, had a real deep, long conversation, got to know them further, whatever it is, right? If you want to be a better father to your children, maybe you could have spent time being with your kids, taking them on a fun adventure, I don't know, Six Flags, or taking them to the park, playing with them, whatever, right? If you want to advance in your career, then maybe you should have been spending time, learning about the next process to get you to where it is you're trying to go, right? Maybe completing your task earlier than what they're due, to show your higher ups that you're great at what you do, right? And that you are capable of taking on more responsibility. If you're trying to finish college, let's say you're in college and maybe you're failing out of class and you don't want to fail. Maybe you should be studying to not fail, right? You get what I'm saying? So you see the example. So on the left-hand side of the paper, you have stuff that you didn't have to do, but you wanted to because you felt compelled to. There was a reason why you wanted to go get that six-pack of beer. There was a reason why you chose to wash your boat instead of do what was on the right side of the page. The things that you ought to be doing, right? To be more than just mediocre, to be better, to advance in whatever it is that you're trying to advance into. What I'm trying to get is that you have a choice, man. You have a choice. The choices that you made on the left-hand side of the paper don't add up to what it is that you're trying to do. You see there's a disconnect. This is how you're living on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, this is what you want. But what you're doing on the left-hand side isn't matching what's on the right. So you need to make a change. You need to prioritize and figure out, okay, if I do really want what's on this right-hand side, if I do really want to be a better father to my kids, if I do really want to have a better relationship with my spouse or my girlfriend, then I need to choose to want to do whatever activity I need to do to make those things happen, and not choose the other on the left-hand side, right? So real quick exercise that I wanted you to do, but hopefully that makes a lot of sense there for you. And hopefully some of the tips that I told you will sink in and you can start utilizing those. Like I said, everything that I talked about, it all starts with you, man. It all starts with you wanting to be better, to be better than mediocre. You have everything at your disposal to do that. Now it's just about making a conscientious effort to go after it. Okay, so now that you have a better understanding of how to move away from being mediocre, but what if that's not enough? What if you're the type of person that needs accountability? They need someone there to push them further along in the process. Then I suggest you click the link in the description below to schedule your free discovery call with myself. Now, this is a phone call where we get very clear on what it is that you want, what's stopping you from potentially achieving those things, and what are the steps you need to take in order to be successful. Be sure to check out these next videos to continue building on your mindset. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.